Zombie Fallout 3, The End. Continues Michael Talbot's quest to be rid of the evil named Eliza that hunts him and his family across the country. As the world spirals even further down into the abyss of apocalypse, one man struggles to keep those around him safe. Side by side, Michael stands with his wife, their children, his friends, and the wonder bulldog Henry, along with the Walmart greeter Tommy, who is infinitely more than he appears. And whether he is leading them to salvation or death is only a measure of degrees. So that's it. This is going to be the book talk about Zombie Fallout 3. I'm Mr. Pleasant Books. From this point forward, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't read the series yet, please go out and read it. It's a zombie apocalypse series, but it is still really, really good. Character driven, you feel for these people, you want them to succeed, you sense the evil that is Eliza. Yes, if you haven't read the series, go out and read it. You'll be very happy that you did. Okay, spoilers. Bye. Fallout 3, The End. This is, Mike makes it to the end. He makes it to his family. Finally, after all these months and all the effort and everything that he's done, he finally is going to make it to his family. But first, this story picks up right where Book 2 left off, with Michael being shot right through the chest with a crossbow bolt and bleeding out. BT, Jen are there with him at the end. Jen dies, and we find what happened to Brandon after he left them, which is kind of a sad story overall. I mean, he gets attacked by dogs, which rip him open. Then he finds the soldiers who save him, bring him into their company, show him this neat little radar that they have to find the zombies. It fails. Brandon gets bit, and his last act was saving Michael, BT, and Jen, but he ended up having to blow his own head off because he was turning into a zombie, which is sad because it means Nicole lost her fiance and the father of her child. Tracy lost a son-in-law that they really loved. Travis and Justin lost a brother-in-law that they really connected with, and it's sad, but it shows you just how big of a deal pride can be. If you let your pride get in the way, it can cost you everything sometimes. The book starts with letting us know that Tommy and Eliza are over 500 years old. It explains that Eliza chose to be turned into a vampire, and that she bit Tommy and half vampired him, maybe? I don't know. I mean, she bit him, so she infected him, but she didn't drink or share her blood, so he didn't fully turn. I'm not sure why that makes a difference. I haven't heard that. And I've heard the legend of, the vampires have to share their blood for you to turn all the way. I've never heard of being bit and turning half vampire. And maybe that would explain why he's so strong, according to everything. I mean, he picked up all those ammo cans, plus Henry in the first book, like it was nothing. And he was able to run and keep up, even though he was described as being a fat guy. In the second book, we got to see the battle with Durgan and the zombies from Mike's point of view. In the third book, it starts out with it being from Tracy and Travis's point of view. They see the house go up in flame. They see BT, Mike, and Jen hop onto the truck with the military, with Brendan, and try to run away. They see Mike get hit, and they drive over there to keep up, and they all make it to safety, and they get to check out Mike. He dies for 7 minutes. He's dead. And that's pretty extreme. But Tracy I still don't like Tracy, but she had an amazing and I'll let you read it because I'll mess it up if I try to say it. But it's an awesome line to get the medic to continue to zap Mike with the defibrillator to bring him back. And he does come back, of course, but he has a vision of heaven when he's up there. He sees Brendan, he finds out Jen was there, or not heaven, more of a purgatory. And he gets to learn, and that's where he learns that Nicole is pregnant, and that Mike needs to go back and save his family, and bring that message of Brendan loves them, and that he's at peace with where he is, that he's going to be waiting for him. And he dies again later in the book, for 12 minutes this time, and he almost steps himself into heaven, which would have killed him, But Tommy stops him and brings him back so that he can continue to fight and to protect. He gets to see that, and he learns from Tommy that Eliza knows where this purgatory is, that she can actually stop people from getting into heaven. So that if he dies without killing her, without defeating her, and then his family comes in, she can actually show up there and stop him from being able to see his family. Now that to me would be a huge motivator to go back. Even if the peace and the comfort that he felt from seeing and stepping near heaven and hearing his family, his mom, Brendan, Jen, all of his friends, that would be a huge motivator for me to go back, beat the living crap out of Eliza, kill her, so that my family could be safe, my friends could be safe. And that's also what works for Mike. He decides to go back to save his family and his friends. And this is where we meet Pork Chop. I don't know if that's... I don't think that's the name his parents gave him. Although they might have, because his parents don't sound like the best of people. It might just be the nickname that the doc gives him. That they meet a doctor, an actual doctor at Camp Custer, which is the military installation. Horrible name. And he just called himself Pork Chop. He's a little kid, maybe 10, 11, 12, something in there. He's also a little bit slow like Tommy. And he wakes Mike up by eating fried chicken right above his face. Which brings Henry in to jump up onto Mike's bed, which nobody believes that. Because, you know, Henry's a little 60-pound bulldog, fat little bulldog, somehow jumps up onto Mike's hospital bed. Oh, it's Henry. I mean, Henry's amazing. He's an awesome dog. Also, the doc explains that it was the flu vaccine that was tainted because it was pushed out, and that's what caused the zombie apocalypse. Now, I think that's how Eliza, because remember when they first meet Eliza, she's more zombie than she is vampire. So I think I don't think she actually took the shot herself. I mean, why would she? But obviously, eating somebody who had the vampire or zombie gene or vaccine poison in them changed her, and that because she's a zombie and not really human, she's slowly healing herself back because she seems to be getting stronger and faster and smarter as the books go along. So it's obviously even the vampires, or they can eat the zombies and kill them, it will affect them. But in book 2 and in book 3 here, we see that Eliza can control the zombies. She can make them gather in groups, make them attack, make them retreat, make them stop and hold. And in this book, we find out that it's her blood. She got humans, followers, and puts a vial of blood around their neck, and that stops the zombies from attacking her followers. And so even though she's still sick, and as a matter of fact, in this book, she's dying, she still has that control over him, which is a scary thought. Something else that we learned from the doctor is that zombies will eat anything. If it has meat, protein, then that's what they'll eat. They can survive on protein bars, but they prefer flesh. And it's what they prefer the most of is human flesh. Because we saw with Brandon that while the dogs went to the store and were hunting him like a pack, and the zombies came in, the dogs and the zombies ignored each other because the dogs don't want to eat the dead flesh, I'm guessing. And they both went after Brendan because he was a human. But according to the doctor, if Brendan hadn't been there, the zombies would have gone after the dogs. Now, while they're on Camp Custard, Mike is healing, BT is healing, they're starting to recover and get over their injuries. Mike is eventually released from the hospital. And we find out that the redneck group who attacked them in book 2, one of them survived and made it here into book 3 and attacks Nicole. And when Mike goes in to find her, I can only assume it's just for story, for dramatic effect. But every movie, every book seems to make stun guns so much more than they actually are. Stun guns will not knock you down. They will not paralyze you after they've been pulled off. A stun gun will only hurt the part of your body that it hits at the time. Which means if it hits you in the arm, you're still going to be able to move the rest of your body. This arm is going to be done, not able to, but the rest of you will still be able to fight, still be able to move. And so it always is kind of irritating me. Like in this book, Mike gets hit in the side of the neck, hits the ground, and he's paralyzed 15 minutes. No, that is not how stun guns work. It's always irritating me when they do this with stun guns. I've been stun gunned. I've been tasered. I've been through riot control training, and I had to be tasered and stun gunned in order to do that to another person, so that if I was brought to court, I could testify and say that it doesn't do what you see in books and movies. That this is what it does to you in real life. I know it happened to me. But it really irritated me because it meant Mike was gonna just lay there on the ground and watch as his daughter was murdered. Thankfully, Henry was still there. So Henry came in, bit the guy's leg, broke it, which caused the redneck to fall to the ground, and Henry was able to grab his face and rip his jaw off, which was gruesome and nasty, but also really, really cool to see the dog Henry protect his family that way. Because he's always portrayed as just a fat, stinky, lazy dog. But to see him actually protect his family, that's always good and always heartwarming. And why you should always have a pet with you in any apocalyptic situation. Always have a pet with you. Dogs preferred, cats, yeah, I mean they have claws they can scratch. But dogs preferred in the apocalypse. Just another survival safety tip from Mr. Pleasant Books. Now as they're resting and recovering, Mike thinks they have about a month before Eliza shows up. He was off by a little bit. I think Eliza showed up after 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not sure how long, actually. It took for Mike to heal up enough to get out of the hospital. But Eliza eventually does show up by getting the human followers and driving the massive, giant, coal-carrying dump trucks. Things that are like 30 feet high, the wheels that are 15 to 20 feet high, and just loaded with tons and tons or hundreds and thousands of zombies in the back of these dump trucks. It blows through the gates of the Camp Custard. I mean, they're getting hit with bazookas, with 50 cal, with all kinds of ammo. Even an Abrams tank comes in to fight. So, I mean, this is a big battle. As a matter of fact, in a movie situation or TV show, I think this would be an awesome battle to see. In real life, it would kind of suck to experience it, but in the movie or the book, or even in the book reading, it sounded like a really amazing looking battle. And they're just fighting to keep these dump trucks and all these zombies and humans from getting into the camp. Because dump trucks are fairly big and sturdy, because they have to be, they do break through the gate and drop all the zombies, and because Eliza controls them, the zombies just start pouring in because they don't care about how many of them get shot and get blown up and get just mangled. They just keep going forward until they push the Marines and the Army and Air Force, all the military, back further and further and further until they're just finally surrounding the homes and the living quarters for the camp. And this is the final stand, the end for the camp. This is where we will make our stand. We will not be pushed back any further. Now this is where Mike gets an opportunity. He knows Eliza's there because Tommy has said it. Justin has said it because he forgot to take it. Oh yeah, Justin, the doc, was able to come with a medicine that would repress the zombie virus that Justin was able to be healed, be able to be cleaned. We're out there, so he gets Travis to help him spot, finds Eliza, takes a shot with a 30-06, hits her, but doesn't kill her because she's healing. She managed to throw somebody in front of her to take the main brunt of the bullet, so it just goes into her. Tommy had placed them above the sewer grate so that they could get down and escape. And it's winter, thankfully, so the sewers hopefully weren't that bad and that nasty being in there. They described it as smelling pretty bad, but not as bad as the zombies did. So I'm taking that to mean that the winter helped tamp down the scent. They get away, they get free, but we find out, but this is where Mike and his family and his friends and everyone find out that Tommy and Eliza are related. Now this makes Tommy, quiet down. Mike and his family, they're upset initially, but Tommy is family. Tommy is part of them. Tommy is an innocent, and he's always there to help them. So they just accept Tommy regardless of who his family is. Even Travis says it later. You can't choose your family. We don't hold it against you, which I hope make Tommy feel better because he is a good guy. And just on a switching gears here, there are in this book a lot of actually kind of touching, sweet moments. There's like a Mike, a BT, and a Travis moment where they're in the kitchen at the farmhouse, which is just kind of a nice, caring moment that he shows, a little bit of the humanity that would come through that you really see. There's also a Mike and a BT in the hospital moment where they're drawing close to each other, and it's just, he has a lot more of those kind of like sweet, tender moments in this book, which is appreciated because it shows that they are actually people, that even in the horror and the blood and the death of Apocalypse, you can still have those nice moments, those moments when you draw close to your family and to your friends and create those bonds that you'd then be willing to fight and die for them, or more importantly, fight and live for them. Anybody can die. The important thing is to live for your family and your friends. And now Mike, he makes it up to Maine with it, and he finally meets his family, his father, his brothers, their wives, their children. We find out that not all of the Talbots made it. His older brother Ron, his daughter never made it into town. His older brother Gary has a twin. That twin hasn't been heard from since the Apocalypse. So not all the Talbots made it, but most of them made it to Ron's house, which is they're turning into a fortress. Which, well, it already sounds like it was already partially a fortress, but they're going to make it even more of a fortress to fight and keep everyone away. Gary seems like he's going to be an interesting character. Mike calls him Gambo because he's trying to talk with a deeper voice. He says saving people is his job, it's what he's meant to do. They say that he lost a little bit when he lost his connection with his twin brother. So at the end of the book, I get to find out what happened to Paul and Alex and them, and their family, or all those extra people that they had. They run into a guy called Mad Jack who says he has a way of stopping the zombies. It doesn't say how before the book ends, but it says that he knows how to stop them. So they all get together and decide to travel as a group themselves. And they're all really missing Mike, because Mike gave them hope, or I think Tommy more gave him hope. Mike gave him a sense of security, because he was always looking for how to be safe, what supplies to get, check the perimeter, make sure there's no zombies around us. And this shows itself in that they've lost that hope and lost that security, and a mom does something absolutely horrible. I mean, it is just, it's wrong. You lose hope, fine, you lose hope, but you don't do what this woman did. It is awful. I don't even want to talk about what she did, because it was just wrong. But everyone feels it's because Mike wasn't there, especially Paul, his best friend. Says if Mike had been here, that wouldn't have happened, because Mike gave us hope, it gave us that security. But yeah, that's how the book ends, is with Miss Deneau, Alex, Paul, Aaron, all of them, Mad Jack, traveling on their way. And book 4 is going to come up with Mike leaving his brother's house to go look for Eliza, because he knows Eliza's coming for him. I'm really happy to keep reading this series, because it's still just a really good series. I like reading about these characters. I hope you enjoyed this book talk. Hope you maybe you learned some things you didn't. Maybe you heard everything that you'd already assumed and figured out yourself. Anyways, thank you for listening. Hope you liked it. Talk to you later.